I was folding her clothes when I found the receipt. Not snooping, just doing what I'd done every Sunday for 8 years. Laundry. The paper was tucked in the pocket of her blazer, creased from being folded twice. Hotel Dominique, Presidential Suite, February 14th to 16th, $1,847.52. Our anniversary was February 10th. We'd spent it at Olive Garden because Vanessa said she had to save money for Q1 taxes. I sat on the edge of our bed, the bed I'd built from reclaimed barn wood, mortise and tenon joints, no screws, and felt something inside me go very still. Let me back up. My name is Cameron Hayes. I'm 36 years old. I restore vintage furniture and architectural salvage, mantels, pocket doors, stained glass windows from churches nobody wants anymore. I work out of a warehouse space in South Memphis, drive a 2009 Silverado with primer spots on the fender, wear flannel shirts with wood stain ground into the cuffs. I smell like mineral spirits and black walnut dust. I'm not on LinkedIn. Vanessa and I met 9 years ago at an estate sale. She was buying mid-century modern chairs for her new condo, sleek stuff with chrome legs. I was bidding on a Victorian sideboard with water damage. She made a joke about my beard. I made her laugh. 3 months later, she moved into the house I'd bought for $180,000 cash, a 1920s Craftsman I'd spent 2 years renovating, every window restored by hand. She was a corporate event planner, made $95,000 a year coordinating conferences and executive retreats. She wore and tailored and drank wine that cost more than my daily material budget. When people asked what I did, she'd say furniture refinishing with a tight smile, then redirect to her latest client win. I never talked about the other part, the inheritance from my grandfather, Joseph Hayes. He'd owned Hayes & Associates, a commercial real estate firm that managed office parks and strip malls across Tennessee and Arkansas. Quiet money, boring money. When he died, I was 28, covered in sawdust, drinking gas station coffee. The lawyers found me at the warehouse. 22 properties. Net worth, $6.7 million. He'd put one condition in the trust: don't tell anyone for 7 years. He wanted me to know who loved me when they thought I had nothing. I kept working, kept driving the truck, kept my mouth shut. Vanessa stayed, but I watched her drift. The way she'd check her phone during dinner. The new gym membership, $140 a month. Then networking events that ran late. She started talking about upgrading the house, my house, like it wasn't good enough anymore. That Friday in February, she'd kissed my cheek, perfume sharp and expensive, and said she had a client retreat in Nashville. Team building exercises. Back Monday, I'd believed her because I wanted to. Now I stood in our bedroom, receipt in hand, and opened her laptop. She'd left it on the nightstand, charging. No password on the home screen. She'd never thought I'd look. Her email loaded. I didn't have to dig. The thread with Marcus Chun went back 4 months. Marcus, can't stop thinking about last weekend. I'd restored with wavy antique glass, $90 per pane. She's gone for the weekend. With him. I have the receipts. I'll have papers ready Monday morning. But Cameron, Tennessee requires proof of fault for immediate separation of assets. Adultery qualifies. I have emails, photos, hotel bills. Then we're clear. You'll keep everything you brought in. Since you never married legally, there's no divorce, just an eviction. 30 days notice, legally required. Make it 15. I'll pay her to leave early. I hung up, made coffee in the French press that had been my grandfather's. Sat in my workshop, surrounded by half-finished projects, a Chippendale chair, a walnut table with hand-cut dovetails, and planned. Vanessa had no idea what was coming. She thought I was simple, safe, too dumb or distracted to notice. She'd find out Monday morning exactly how wrong she was. Vanessa came home Sunday evening, rolling her overnight bag across the threshold with the satisfied air of someone who'd gotten away with something. She smelled like hotel soap and cologne that wasn't mine. How was Nashville? I asked. I was at my workbench, hand-planing a piece of cherry, the cuts precise and meditative. Exhausting. She kicked off her heels. Corporate trust falls and PowerPoints about synergy. I need a real vacation. Learn anything useful? How to pretend I care about team dynamics. She checked her phone, smiling at something. I'm going to shower. There's pot roast in the slow cooker. I'm not hungry. The water ran for 35 minutes. When she came down in the cashmere robe I'd given her for Christmas, $240, She was glowing in a way that made my jaw tight. She microwaved the pot roast anyway. Ate it scrolling her phone, standing at the island I'd built from reclaimed oak. Work tomorrow? I asked. Big week. Finalizing the Grayson account. Could mean a promotion to senior director. Good luck with that. She looked up, suspicious of sincerity. Thanks. Monday morning, I was up at 5 a.m. Made coffee, fried eggs, packed my lunch in the cooler that smelled like sawdust and old leather. Vanessa left at 7:30, BMW purring out of the driveway, leased at $585 a month, 3 years remaining. At 9 a.m., I met Gerald at his office downtown. He handed me a folder 2 inches thick. Everything's here, he said. Eviction notice. Asset documentation. Proof the house was purchased before cohabitation. The emails and receipts he provided. Since Tennessee doesn't recognize common law marriage anymore, hasn't since 1996, she has no legal claim to your property or assets. And the money? I recommend offering $25,000 for her to vacate in 15 days instead of 30. Sign a release. Accept the payment. Leave quietly. Do it. At 2 p.m., I was replacing a broken stretcher on a Victorian settee when Gerald texted. Papers delivered at her office, 1:47 p.m. Witnesses present. She called me twice. I declined. My phone rang at 2:03. Vanessa. I let it ring out. It rang again. And again. 14 calls before I silenced it. I worked until dark, the rhythm of mallet and chisel grounding. Remove the damaged wood. Fit the new piece. Clamp it true. Wait for the glue to set. Simple problems with simple solutions. When I got home, Vanessa's BMW was crooked in the driveway. One tire on the grass I'd sodded myself last spring. Every light in the house was on. She was in the kitchen, papers scattered across the table like shrapnel. $6.7 million. Her voice shook. You've had $6.7 million this whole time. I set my cooler down. Started washing it in the sink, methodical. 6.9 now? Market's been good. You lied to me. I never lied. You never asked. You let me think we were. She stood abruptly. I've been budgeting, clipping coupons. And you're secretly rich. I still clip coupons. Red Lobster has good deals. This isn't funny. I turned around. How is the presidential suite? The one you paid for with money you said you needed for taxes. Her face went white. How's Marcus? You know you were planning to take half the house you have no legal right to. Cameron, I sent him the emails. And his employer. Event planning's a small industry. Thought they should know about the team building you've been doing. You're trying to destroy my career. I'm not trying anything. I'm done. I pulled a beer from the fridge, local brewery, $9 a six-pack. You want it out. Here's the door. We can fix this. Counseling. I made a mistake. You made a plan. I read it. All 73 emails. She sank into a chair. When she spoke again, her voice was smaller. What do you want? I'll leave the furniture. We can split the savings. There's nothing to split. The house is mine. The savings are mine. Your car is leased in your name. Enjoy the payments. Your 401k and checking account, about $53,000 total, are yours. Everything else was always mine. That's not there? Our laws, there are. Gerald cited them. Page 12. I drank. Tennessee abolished common law marriage in 1996. You have no claim to property I owned before we met, which is everything. So I just leave? You have 15 days. There's $25,000 in it if you sign the release and go quietly. That's generous. Cameron, please. Tears now, real or strategic. I love you. Marcus was just, it was stupid, it was calculated. You call me simple. Safe. Boring. Said I didn't notice anything beyond my wood projects. I finished the beer. You were wrong about the last part. I didn't mean, you meant it. You've meant it for months. You just thought I was too simple to see. I walked upstairs. Where are you going? To bed. I have a commission in the morning. Restoration work. Boring stuff. I left her surrounded by papers that documented everything she'd missed. The 15 days moved like a careful restoration, piece by piece, deliberate. No wasted motion. Vanessa hired a lawyer, someone named Andrea with a website full of empowerment quotes. She called Gerald twice, reviewed the documentation, stopped calling. There was nothing to contest. The law was clear as the grain in quarter sawn oak. Vanessa signed the release on day 12. The $25,000 cleared into her account on day 13. On day 14, A moving company came for her furniture. The mid-century pieces she'd brought. The bedroom set we'd bought together at Ashley Home Store. $3,200. Technically purchased with her credit card. I was at the warehouse, refinishing a church pew, when she texted, "I'm taking the kitchen mixer and the coffee maker." That's fair. I didn't respond. They were both wedding gifts from her side of the family that never happened because we'd never legally married. Let her have the win. Day 15. I came home to an empty house. Not empty, emptier. Rooms that made sense again. Breathing space around my furniture, my projects, my silence. I ordered barbecue from Central Barbecue. $18.75 with tip. Ate it on the front porch I'd rebuilt with tongue-and-groove decking, and slept 11 hours straight. March brought work. A client in Germantown wanted her grandmother's dining table restored. Water rings, cigarette burns, 30 years of damage. I spent 2 weeks bringing it back, hand-rubbing tum oil until the walnut glowed like honey. She cried when she saw it. "It's like having her back," she said. "Just the table she loved?" I replied. "The memories were always yours." She paid me $4,200. I deposited it with the rest, the quiet accumulation of work that mattered. April brought rain and a foundation issue at a property I own near Overton Park. A 4-unit building I'd bought from the estate trust, $340,000, rented to artists and graduate students. I spent a week in the crawl space, mud-caked and focused, fixing what 30 years of water had damaged. I was there, actually, when Vanessa found me. I heard heels on concrete, looked up from where I was shimming a support post, and there she was. Hair different, longer, darker. Dressed like she had somewhere important to be. She looked tired. "Your property manager told me where to find you," she said. "Linda's efficient. Can we talk?" I climbed out, wiped my hands on a shop rack. "Waited. I made a mistake," Vanessa said. The words came rushed, rehearsed. "A terrible mistake. These months have been hell. Marcus wasn't. It didn't work out. He wasn't who I thought. And work has been." She stopped. "I miss you. I miss us. There was no us. There was you, and a version of me you invented because you weren't paying attention. That's not true. We had good years. We had years where you didn't know me, and I let you not know because I wanted to see if you'd stay when you thought I was nobody. That's cruel. Maybe. Or maybe it's just honest. I'm good at honesty. You're good at strategy. Cameron, please. I'm asking for another chance. Real partnership. Complete transparency. I'll sign whatever you want." I looked at her the way I looked at furniture before deciding if it was worth saving. Check the joints. The finish. Whether the bones were sound or just pretty veneer over particle board. "No," I said. "Just no?" After 8 years. After 8 years of you thinking I wasn't worth understanding. That I was too simple to see you. A placeholder until something better came along. I picked up my toolbox. "You didn't love me, Vanessa. You loved the idea of someone you could control. Someone who wouldn't challenge you or make you question yourself. I see you now. You see the money. That's different. What do you want me to say?" I walked toward my truck. "Nothing. I don't need anything from you. I never did. That's what you couldn't understand. So that's it. I lose everything." I stopped. Turned. "You lost what you never valued. The rest you threw away yourself." I drove to the warehouse. Spent the afternoon cutting dovetails for a jewelry. Box commission, the angles precise. The fits so tight they'd hold without glue. Work that would outlast me. Work that mattered. That evening, I sat at my workbench, truly mine now, and opened the design file for my next project. A client wanted a Murphy bed built into a bookcase, complex hinges, hidden storage. The kind of problem that required patience and precision. I wanted it. Outside, spring rain started, soft on the metal roof. My dog, a rescue hound I'd adopted in March, 50 pounds of beagle mix named Biscuit, slept on a blanket made from old moving quilts. I pulled up the drawings, started planning, found problems, solved them, built something that would last. Alone, unnoticed, exactly how I'd always worked best. The phone didn't ring again. Vanessa didn't come back. The work continued, steady and certain as my hands. Some men need an audience. Need validation. Need someone to confirm they matter. I just needed to know I'd built something real. Something that held weight. Something that didn't fall apart when tested. I had. That was enough.